Jessie here. Welcome back to my channel, or if you are new here, welcome. I am sitting down to check out my budget planner for the week. We're going to check in and see how I did sticking to the budget that I wrote for myself for this first week in May. I'm open here to my May calendar page. This is a page that I took from an Erin Condren monthly planner. I just uncoiled it and I covered the coil binding here with some washi tape, punched it using an arc punch and put it right here into my disc bound system. And this is the spread in my planner where I keep track of all of my transactions using stickers that I created for myself with my silhouette portrait. So all of the stickers you see on this page, I made myself. I like to have a pretty, but also super functional calendar page. So I took the calendar pages that came in the planner, I used my stickers and some whiteout to redate the calendar and make it work really well for my budgeting system. My husband gets paid on Tuesdays, so that is the start of our budgeting week. And so I've made it so that this calendar starts on a Tuesday, and each row here in my calendar then will represent a new budgeting week. So the week that you see here laid out with all of these stickers is the week we are going to be checking in with. I use a color coding system to keep track of my transactions. Pretty much every single dime that I spent is reflected here on this spread. So I can then flip very easily to my budget for the week. This is the paycheck bill tracker from the Budget by Paycheck workbook. This is where I wrote out my budget. I can very, very easily look at how much I budgeted. I can check in with the calendar and see how much I spent in each of those categories. And hopefully at the end of this, we will be under budget. So I'm going to actually pull this page. That's one of the things I love about this disc bound system is I can move the pages around. I can pull them out to write on them. This system works out really, really well for me. And I'm just going to kind of move this here so that I have everything in one place so I can check in with my budget. The way that I handle my budgeting is I write out my budget at the start of every week, I track my transactions throughout the week, and then at the end of the week, before I write out the next week's budget, I check in and get my budget results for the week. So if, as I'm going down these lists of categories, I find that I'm over budget in an area, then I will write that amount in this actual column in red, which I actually need to grab a red pen, so I'll do that momentarily. But if I am under budget or I stuck to my budget, I write it in black. And that's just a really easy way for me to visually see at a glance what categories I did well in and what categories I could do better in. If, week after week I'm checking in with my budget and I'm seeing that I'm over budget in a category repeatedly, then I know that the budget that I have set for that category is maybe not super realistic and I need to adjust my expectations and raise that budget. Or I need to really look into seeing if there are areas in that part of my budget where I can make changes and cuts to better fit my budget. That's why I do that. So let me grab a red pen really quickly. Let me adjust the lighting a little bit because we're looking a little dark, and then we will start checking in with this budget. Give me just a second. Okay, so I have adjusted my lighting a little bit, and I also moved my mic, so hopefully the sound quality is still good, and hopefully the lighting is a little bit better. I also went ahead and grabbed a red pen. So for pens today, I am using the Eraseable pen from Parkoo in black. These are my favorite pens to use because we're working with numbers and budgeting and math, And that's not necessarily my forte. I make a lot of mistakes and I like to be able to easily erase them and, you know, change things up a little bit. For my red pen, I'm using a Pentel Energel pen. I have some erasable red pens from Parkoo, but you guys, I cannot find them anywhere. I need to completely clean out my little cart where I keep all of my stuff because it's just a mess and I can't find anything. But for now, the Pentel will work. I do like these pens. I just have to make sure I don't make any mistakes that I need to erase because I won't have that option. So now we're going to take a look at each line item in my budget one by one and check in and see how I did. So the first line item we're going to look at is groceries. And for groceries, I budgeted $250. If we look here at my calendar, you can see that I track my groceries in this pink color. At least I hope you can see. I don't want to zoom in too much because I want everything to be all in the frame, so hopefully this is okay. For groceries, I'm looking for pink stickers during this first week of May, and you can see here I had one grocery transaction and it was just over what I budgeted at $253.56. However, one of the items that I purchased during this grocery trip was for my mother-in-law. I got her some cat food. I'm sorry, it was actually cat litter, and she reimbursed me for that. She gave me $10. So this amount here is written in at $253.56, but what I actually spent was $243.56 because we got that $10 back. So that's what I'm going to write in for my actual total, and that brings it down under the $250 that I budgeted. I will take that $10 that she gave me in cash and deposit it in the bank to cover that extra $10 here, and that puts me under budget for groceries, so that's great. Alright, next up we have Disney Plus, which is a bill. I track all of my bills in this light blue color. You can see them all here. For Disney Plus, I budgeted $8, and that is what the bill came out to, so $8, just as anticipated. For for Hulu, we budgeted $6, and that, as you can see here, came out at $5.99. So that was under budget as well. For HBO Max, we budgeted $16. HBO Max came out at $15.84. So I just write in the actual total there. Makes it super easy when I already have all of my transactions laid down here in my calendar. I was really good this week about going in on a daily basis and tracking things. Sometimes I get behind, and when that happens, it's a struggle because then I have to look back at old bank statements, you know, dig through my purse for receipts and write everything in. And it's much easier to do it on a daily basis when I can easily remember what I spent. So I was really good about that this week, and I'm happy because it makes the whole process much easier. All right, for Netflix, I budgeted $14, and for Netflix, that came out at $13.99. Our Boost mobile bill, I budgeted $130. That came out at $130 as anticipated. And lastly, I have my camper payment here, which I budgeted $200 for, and that is exactly what it came out at, $200 even. So all of the items that I wrote here under this bills category came out at or less than what I anticipated, which is good. It means it's all black ink. Everything was under budget here. So now what I do is I go in and I add up all the actual amounts so that I can get a total for this bills category. By the way, if you've never seen one of my budget videos before and you're not familiar with how I do it, I write in everything under this bills category that I'm going to pay with my checking account, whether it be a direct payment from my checking account or a check or my debit card. All of that gets written in under bills. We do primarily cash for a lot of our transactions, but these are things that we don't do in cash. So that's why they're under the bills category. I just like to keep it separate that way. So now I'm going to pull in my calculator and we are going to add these items up. So we have $243.56 for groceries, plus 8 plus $5.99 plus $15.84 plus $13.99 plus $130 plus $200. So of the $624 that I budgeted for this category, I only spent $617.38, which means that we are under budget by $6.62. Not a whole heck of a lot, but it's better to be under than over budget for sure. So I just write that $6.62 here in this leftover space. This is not the way that the budget mom anticipated this being used when she created this system. The way that she has you do it is you write in your income total up here, and then you subtract the bill total from your income total, and that gives you your leftover amount here. I don't do it that way because I don't disclose my income. So I've just made this printable work for me. Just because it's not the way that the budget mom intended when she designed it doesn't mean that it doesn't work. You can finagle things and make them work for you. So that's what I do. I just put the amount that's left over in this category in this leftover space here, and that works for me. So $6.62 that I budgeted did not get spent on any of these bills. So that means that I have this left over, and this is going to remain in my checking account. Because my husband is paid based on commission, his paychecks are not consistent. They're not the same every week. They fluctuate quite a bit. So I have a buffer in my account where I have extra money just sitting there to make up for a week when maybe his paycheck is a little bit lower or our expenses are a little bit higher. And our buffer has been eaten up quite a bit lately. So I want to take this money and just have this be added to our buffer amount. Typically what I would do with this is I would send this extra money to an extra debt payment, since it is our goal to pay off all of our credit card debt by the end of 2021, but I need to get that buffer back up. So that money is just going to stay in my account to act as a buffer. All right, next up we're going to move to the cash envelopes. So at the start of every week, I pull out cash from my bank to act as our spending money to get us through the week. These are all things that we pay every single week. We can do it with cash, and so that's why it's under this cash envelopes category. First up is my husband's spending money. I give him $40 at the start of every week. He spends it on whatever he wants. He never comes back and says, "Babe, I ran out of money, I need more." He never, takes the $12 that he didn't spend that week and give it back. So this 40 is just always as budgeted. I gave him 40. What he didn't spend, he'll roll over into next week. He keeps track of all of his spending money. So that's always as anticipated. He's really great at sticking to his budget and not overspending. Next up, I have my spending money. Just like my husband, I get $40 at the start of every single week to do whatever I want with it. And I keep track of my spending here on my calendar just because it's easy enough for me to do that. So my spending money gets tracked in this purple color here, and you can see I had one transaction here for $13. So I budgeted 40, but I only spent 13. So I'm under budget there, which is awesome. These next two categories are my sons. I give each of my sons $20 at the start of every week for them to do with whatever they please, just like our spending money. They each get $20, and I give that to them at the start of the week, and that's that. So that is always as anticipated. For lawn care this week, I pulled out the $20 for paying the guy that cuts our grass, but he didn't come this week. We didn't need our grass cut, so I actually spent nothing of this, and I will pull out my wallet here momentarily and show you guys what I have left in each of my cash envelopes. For gas, we budgeted $40 at the start of the week, and if we look here on my calendar, you can see, hopefully, that I track my gas in this light purple color. We did have a gas transaction, and it took the full $40 to fill my gas tank. Gas prices have also steadily gone up lately, so I budgeted $40 and I spent the full $40. That's gone. Next up, we have eating out, which I budgeted $60 for, and if we look here on my calendar, eating out is in this yellow color. You can see we ate out twice this week. We went to Sonic on Wednesday after my son's track meet, and we spent $30. And then we ordered a pizza Friday night, and that was the other $30. So I don't need my calculator for that. 30 plus 30 is 60. So we spent the full amount that we budgeted, which is fine. That's what we budgeted it for. And lastly, I have miscellaneous. So for miscellaneous, I budgeted $20. We track miscellaneous here in this green color. You can see we had just one transaction here during this week for miscellaneous, and we spent $5 paying a toll that we needed to pay to get onto Grozeel for a track meet that my son had. So of the $20, we spent $5. So we're going to come in significantly under budget here as well, which is awesome. So let's add this up. 40 plus 13 plus 20 plus 20 plus 40 plus 60 plus 5 is $198. Which means that of the $260 that we budgeted, we only spent $198. That means we should have $62 left. And now what I'm going to do is pull in my wallet, and we're going to find out if that's what I have. So this is my wallet. It is by the brand Conscious Wallet. It is available on Amazon. It's a great all-in-one cash wallet. You get the wallet, the strap, as well as some plastic envelopes. So it's everything you need to get started with a cash budget. If that's something you're interested in, I do have it linked down below. The envelopes that I have in here are not the envelopes that came with the wallet. I have envelopes here from Erica Life Vlogs. These envelopes are not available on her shop anymore, but you can search Etsy for clear cash envelopes and find tons of envelopes similar to this if this is your style. I really like the nice clean aesthetic, so that's what I have done. So now we're going to go through each of these envelopes and I'm going to show you what I have left. Okay, so looking back here, we can see that for my spending, I had $40 that I budgeted at the start of the week. I only spent $13, which means I should have $27 remaining in that envelope. So if we flip here to my spending envelope, we can pull that out and see that I have 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27. So that is accurate. I'm just going to set this off to the side. Moving on here, we said we had $20 for lawn care that we did not spend. That is actually here in this pocket. I do still have that $20 for lawn care, so I'm going to set that to the side as well. Next up, we spent all gas, which you can see that my gas envelope is empty. We spent all our eating out. Our food envelope is empty. And then for miscellaneous, we had 20. We spent 5, which means we should have $15 remaining in my miscellaneous envelope. 5, 10, 15. So that is accurate as well. And that means then that overall we should have $62 here. 20, 40, 45, 50, 55, 56, 57, 58, 59, 60, 61, 62. So we do have $62 left. Much like with my leftover amount here in this bills category, this envelopes category, this amount of money is going to go roll over into next week to act as our buffer. So that's what I'm going to do with that. Like I said, typically this would be an extra debt payment, but I don't like my buffer in my account to get under, you know, a few $100s, and we have under $100 right now in our buffer. So I want to make sure that I'm building that back up, so that's what this money is going to go to. All right, you can see here that I do have money left here in this bank envelope. This is cash that I had in my various cash envelopes that we used our debit card for those categories rather than use the cash, whether it was just more convenient or because we couldn't pay cash or whatever the reason. So I just would then take the cash out of the cash envelope and put it in this bank envelope to be deposited to cover those transactions that I used our debit card for. So that's what we have here. This money will get deposited in the bank to true up our account so that everything is accurate. In addition to this money, I also need to add this $10 that my mother-in-law gave me for that cat litter that I mentioned earlier. So that will get deposited into the bank as well. And actually, all of this is also going to get deposited into the bank, into my buffer. So we have quite a hefty deposit to make to our bank. So that's it for cash envelopes. And that is all set and situated. For sinking funds, we just had $40 that I had put into my husband's sinking fund. If you watched my cash envelope stuffing video last week, you would have seen that I did do that as anticipated. So that was as planned. For this extra debt category here, you can see that I budgeted $300 to go to our Lowe's card, which was the card that we were working on paying off. If we look here at my calendar, extra debt payments are written in this gray color. You can see that I did send that $300 to Lowe's, and that actually paid that card off. So that is one more card that we can check off our list as being paid. I will be doing a debt snowball update coming up later this week so that you guys can find out what our plan is moving forward for our debt, but Lowe's is officially paid off. Woohoo, exciting! So that was as planned, and then the only other thing here I have is our rollover amount that I leave blank just for privacy's sake, but that was all as anticipated as well. So as you can see, looking at this page, there's no red ink. I needn't have bothered going to get this red pen. We did really well this week. We managed to stick to our budget and come in under budget in most areas here, which is great. It's a huge accomplishment. You can see I have taken care of all of these transactions we had written down. Oops, there goes my red pen. So I'm going to go ahead and just check all of these off so that I know that I tracked them and that was all set. You see, we had a couple of no-spend days as well, which is exciting. It's my goal for May to have 10 no-spend days. So, you know, 2 down. Pretty exciting. And I'm very, very happy with how this week went. So that's going to do it for today's video. If you liked it, please give it a big thumbs up. Leave me a comment down below and let me know how this looked, if I need to zoom in for next week. I have a feeling that it might have been difficult to see some of these smaller numbers. Still trying to get my bearings in terms of how to film now that I have all of my pages in one notebook. So we'll get there, but hopefully you enjoyed this video. Like I said, give it a thumbs up if you did. That really, really helps out my channel. Leave me a comment down below and let me know how your first full week of May went. Hopefully your May budget is right on track. Don't forget to subscribe. I post new budgeting and lifestyle content here on my channel every single weekday. I also, if you don't know, go live every single Monday night where I live stream and chit chat with you guys and answer questions. So definitely would love it if you would join me for my Jabber with Jessie live streams. They're a lot of fun. I also have a Facebook group that you can join. It's the Jwhackers Fans and Friends Facebook group. We chit chat over there a lot about budgeting, but also other stuff. You know, we're all good friends over there, so I highly recommend that you check that out. If you're interested, you can also follow me on my other social media accounts linked down below. Thanks so much for watching, guys, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye!